If you're over 50 and you've been doing your best to stay active, this message is for you. You walk, you move. Some of you even do squats because you were told they're essential for strong legs and healthy aging. And that advice isn't wrong, but it's not the whole story. Because many people don't realize this. After 50, your body changes in ways that traditional exercise advice doesn't account for. And when exercise stops matching your body's needs, movement starts to feel harder, not easier. So what if the aches, the stiffness, or the loss of balance you've noticed aren't just getting older? What if it's not your age at all, but the way you've been training? Today, I want to show you a different way to think about strength after 50, one that supports balance, confidence, and long-term independence. For decades, squats have been promoted as the gold standard exercise for building strong glutes, hips, and legs. They are often described as essential for strength, posture, and healthy aging. However, while squats can be effective, they may not always be the best choice for people over the age of 50. As the body ages, joints lose shock-absorbing capacity, balance systems become less responsive, and stability becomes more important than raw strength. In this context, performing squats the same way they are taught to younger adults may place unnecessary stress on the knees, hips, and lower back. The issue is not that squats are bad, but that relying on them alone may no longer match the changing needs of an aging body. Squats themselves are not wrong, harmful, or useless. In fact, they can still be a valuable exercise when performed correctly and at the right intensity. The real issue lies in how most people over 50 perform squats, and how often they rely on them as their primary lower body exercise. As mobility, joint tolerance, and balance change with age, the traditional squat pattern may no longer serve the body in the same way it once did. When squats are done without proper stability or muscle balance, they can quietly increase strain instead of improving function. This is why it's important to rethink, not abandon, your approach to exercise after 50. If this resonates with you, subscribe for more science-backed, age-smart fitness guidance. Leave a comment with your age and where you're watching from. I'd love to hear your story. One of the biggest risks facing adults over 50 is not muscle weakness, but a higher chance of falls and joint-related injuries. As we age, the body's ability to absorb impact through the joints gradually declines, especially in the knees, hips, and lower back. At the same time, balance and coordination systems become less efficient, making recovery from sudden shifts in weight more difficult. This combination increases the likelihood of losing balance during everyday activities such as walking, turning, or stepping on uneven ground. Research consistently shows that falls are a leading cause of serious injury in older adults, often resulting in long recovery periods and loss of independence. This is why exercise after 50 must prioritize joint protection, balance, and stability, not just building strength. Many people assume that balance problems, lower back pain, or unsteady movement are caused by a lack of strength or simply by getting older. In reality, one of the most important factors is hip instability. The hips play a central role in keeping the body upright and controlled during movement. When the muscles responsible for stabilizing the hips are weak or underactive, the body begins to compensate. The lower back works harder, the knees absorb more stress, and balance gradually declines. This can happen even in people who exercise regularly. The issue is not laziness or insufficient effort, but training the wrong muscles. Without proper hip stability, strength alone cannot protect the body from discomfort, poor balance, or increased risk of injury. A key reason traditional squats may fall short for adults over 50 is that they mainly target the gluteus maximus, the large muscle responsible for power and outward strength. While this muscle helps with standing up, climbing stairs, and lifting objects, it is not the primary muscle responsible for balance and stability. Squats often underactivate the gluteus medius, a smaller but critically important muscle located on the side of the hip. This muscle keeps the pelvis level, controls side-to-side movement, and stabilizes the body during walking or standing on one leg. When training focuses almost exclusively on the gluteus maximus, overall strength may improve, but stability and control can continue to decline, especially with age. The gluteus medius plays a critical role in everyday movement, especially as we age. Its main function is to keep the pelvis stable and level when you walk, stand on one leg, turn, or shift your weight. It also helps protect the spine and knees by preventing excessive side-to-side motion and poor alignment. When this muscle is strong and active, movement feels smoother, safer, and more confident. When it is weak, balance becomes unstable, and other joints are forced to compensate. This is why training the gluteus medius is essential for long-term mobility after 50, not optional. If this information is helping you rethink your training, subscribe for more age-smart fitness guidance. Leave a comment below with your age and country. I'd love to connect with you. When the gluteus medius becomes weak or inactive, the body does not stop moving. It simply adapts in unhealthy ways. To maintain balance, the lower back begins to work harder than it should, often leading to fatigue, stiffness, or chronic discomfort. At the same time, the knees may collapse inward during walking, standing, or climbing stairs, increasing stress on the joint and raising the risk of pain or injury. Balance also quietly declines, making movements feel less stable, even if strength appears unchanged. These compensations usually develop gradually, which is why many people don't notice the problem until daily activities start to feel more difficult. What feels like normal aging is often the result of long-term muscle imbalance, rather than an unavoidable loss of function. Many of the changes people experience after 50, such as hip discomfort, faster fatigue, or feeling unsteady, are often blamed on age alone. However, these symptoms are frequently the result of training habits that focus on the wrong priorities. When exercise routines repeatedly emphasize large, powerful muscles while neglecting stabilizing muscles, the body loses coordination and control. Over time, this imbalance can make everyday movements feel harder and less secure. The problem is not that the body is breaking down, but that it is adapting to what it is repeatedly asked to do. By training strength without stability, movement quality slowly declines. Recognizing that these issues come from what you train and what you ignore is the first step toward moving better and feeling more confident again. After the age of 50, the definition of strength begins to change. It is no longer just about how much weight you can lift or how hard you can push your muscles. True strength becomes the ability to stay balanced, maintain good posture, and move confidently through everyday activities without pain or fear. This includes walking on uneven surfaces, climbing stairs, standing up from a chair, and reacting quickly if you lose your balance. These abilities depend more on coordination, joint stability, and muscle control than on raw power. Focusing only on traditional strength exercises can overlook these essential skills. Training after 50 should support how the body moves in real life, not just how it performs in the gym. Many popular exercise programs follow a one-size-fits-all approach, assuming that the same routines work equally well at any age. In reality, most of these programs were designed with younger bodies in mind. Bodies with healthier joints, faster nervous systems, and stronger balance responses. After 50, the body processes movement differently. Joints tolerate less compressive load, reaction time slows, and stabilizing muscles require more intentional training. When older adults follow routines created for younger athletes, the exercises may feel familiar, but no longer match their physical needs. This mismatch can lead to discomfort, poor movement patterns, and frustration, even in people who stay consistent with exercise. A smarter approach recognizes that aging bodies are not broken. They simply need strategies that respect how they change. Most adults over 50 are not inactive or unmotivated. In fact, many walk daily, stay generally active, and make a genuine effort to look after their health. Some even continue doing exercises like squats because they were told these movements are essential for strength and healthy aging. The problem is not a lack of effort, but a lack of guidance that reflects how the body changes with age. When people follow advice that doesn't adapt to their current physical needs, progress can stall or discomfort can increase. This often leads to confusion and self-blame. Understanding that consistency alone is not enough, and that exercise must be age-appropriate, helps shift the focus from trying harder to training smarter. Staying active is important, but movement without proper muscle activation can become repetitive rather than beneficial. When exercises are performed without engaging the right stabilizing muscles, the body begins to rely on compensation instead of control. Over time, these compensations increase joint stress, reduce movement efficiency, and raise the risk of discomfort or injury, even in people who exercise regularly. Simply moving more does not guarantee better balance or long-term mobility. What matters is how you move and which muscles you train. This is why purposeful, targeted exercises become essential after 50. If this message resonates with you, subscribe for more science-based, age-smart fitness content. Comment below and tell me your age and where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. To support long-term mobility after 50, exercise routines need to shift toward movements that are low-impact, intentional, and stability-focused. Instead of relying only on traditional strength exercises, it becomes essential to include movements that train balance, coordination, and joint control. These types of exercises place less stress on the knees, hips, and lower back, while teaching the body how to move more efficiently. By targeting stabilizing muscles, especially around the hips, the body can better manage everyday forces such as walking, turning, and standing on one leg. This approach does not mean exercising less or avoiding effort. It means choosing exercises that protect the joints and improve movement quality. Over time, these small, focused movements can lead to safer, stronger, and more confident daily activity. To address these specific needs, 4 exercises are introduced as smarter alternatives to relying on squats alone for adults over 50. These movements are not designed to replace all strength training, but to fill the critical gap that traditional routines often miss. Each exercise directly targets the gluteus medius and the hip stabilizers responsible for balance, alignment, and controlled movement. They include side-lying hip abduction, posterior hip abduction, standing hip drop with abduction, and standing hip extension with external rotation. Together, these exercises train the hips in multiple directions, side to side, backward, and rotational, which better reflects real-life movement. Their value lies not in intensity but in precision, joint safety, and the ability to restore stability that supports confident movement after 50. One of the biggest advantages of these 4 exercises is how accessible and joint-friendly they are. They do not require heavy weights, gym machines, or advanced fitness experience. Most can be performed at home using only body weight and a small amount of space. Because the movements are low impact, they place minimal stress on the knees, hips, and lower back, making them suitable for aging joints. Despite their simplicity, these exercises are highly effective at improving balance, coordination, and hip stability. By focusing on control rather than intensity, they help the body move more efficiently and safely. This makes them especially valuable for adults over 50 who want to stay active without increasing pain or injury risk. The true goal of these exercises is not to create muscle burn or physical exhaustion, but to reawaken and retrain the body's stabilizing system. As we age, certain muscles, especially deep stabilizers, tend to become underactive, even if we remain physically active. These exercises are designed to restore communication between the brain and the muscles that control balance and alignment. By moving slowly and with intention, the nervous system relearns how to activate the right muscles at the right time. This kind of training improves movement quality rather than just strength output. Over time, better muscle coordination leads to smoother motion, reduced joint stress, and greater confidence in everyday activities, which is far more valuable than simply feeling tired after a workout. When stabilizing muscles are properly trained, the benefits extend far beyond exercise sessions. Improved hip stability helps reduce unnecessary strain on the lower back, often easing chronic tension or fatigue. Walking becomes smoother, posture improves, and each step feels more controlled and secure. As coordination increases, the body responds more effectively to small balance challenges, such as uneven ground or quick direction changes. This leads to greater confidence during daily activities and a lower risk of sudden loss of balance. Over time, these improvements can significantly enhance overall mobility and independence. What may begin as small, controlled movements during exercise gradually translates into safer, more efficient motion throughout everyday life, making routine tasks feel easier and less physically demanding. Everyday life rarely involves simple up and down movements. Instead, it requires constant adjustments. twisting to look behind you, stepping sideways, turning quickly, or reaching in unexpected directions. These multi-directional and rotational movements place high demands on hip stability and balance control, especially after 50. When the body is not trained for these patterns, even simple daily actions can feel risky. This is why exercises that prepare the body for real-life movement are essential, not optional. Training rotation and lateral control helps protect against sudden balance loss in the moments that matter most. If this perspective is changing how you think about exercise, subscribe for more age-smart, science-backed content. Leave a comment below with your age and where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. Traditional squat-based training focuses primarily on straight, vertical movement, lowering down and standing back up. While this pattern builds strength, it does very little to prepare the body for the sideways and rotational forces that occur in real life. Squats rarely challenge the hips to control twisting, stepping off center, or recovering from an unexpected shift in balance. As a result, someone can feel strong during exercise, yet still feel unstable when turning quickly, stepping backward, or walking on uneven surfaces. This gap between gym strength and real-world movement is where many balance issues begin. Without training these missing movement patterns, the body remains vulnerable, even if overall fitness levels appear good. After 50, real strength is no longer defined by pushing heavier weights or completing more repetitions. Instead, it is measured by how well the body can move with control, awareness, and confidence. True strength means being able to react quickly when balance is challenged, maintain alignment during movement, and trust your body in everyday situations. This type of strength depends on the connection between the brain, muscles, and joints working together as one system. When this connection is strong, movement feels natural and secure. When it is weak, even simple tasks can feel uncertain. Training with this broader definition of strength helps support long-term independence, allowing people to move freely and safely as they age. One of the most encouraging aspects of this approach is how simple it is to begin. Improving balance and hip stability does not require a gym membership, expensive equipment, or long workout sessions. Many of these exercises can be done at home, using only body weight and a small amount of space. They are adaptable to different fitness levels and can be modified to match individual comfort and ability. This makes them accessible even for people who are dealing with joint discomfort or reduced mobility. The focus is not on perfection, but on consistency and awareness. Starting with simple, controlled movements allows the body to rebuild stability safely and progressively, without feeling overwhelmed or discouraged. The small choices you make today can have a powerful impact on how you move in the future. Beginning with simple, controlled exercises may not feel impressive at first, but these small movements build the foundation for long-term mobility and independence. Over time, they help protect joints, improve balance, and restore confidence in everyday motion. What seems minor now can determine how easily you walk, climb stairs, or recover from a stumble years later. The goal is not quick results, but lasting ability. By starting early and staying consistent, you invest in a future where movement feels natural and secure. These small steps taken today can be the difference between struggling later and continuing to live actively and independently. In the end, the true goal of training after 50 is not appearance or performance in the gym, but safety, confidence, and quality of life. Being able to move without fear, stay independent, and trust your body in daily situations matters far more than how intense an exercise looks. When training supports balance, stability, and control, it supports the life you want to keep living. This is about protecting your future, not pushing your limits. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel for more science-backed, age-smart fitness guidance. Leave a comment with your age and where you're watching from, and let me know what you'd like to see in the next video. Stay tuned. More practical exercises and insights are coming soon.